No one wants to be in the middle of an ethnic conflict. That's why our products, such as boundaries that separate different ethnicities, help with limiting the chance of creating an ethnic conflict. But what might happen if you don't buy our products, you may ask? Well, something like what happened in Kosovo may happen. This conflict took place in the world region of Europe. It happened when Kosovo was still a part of the state Yugoslavia. But while this ethnic conflict was occurring, Yugoslavia was already breaking up. Issues started to arise since Kosovo was a multi-ethnic state where 82% of the population were ethnic Albanians and 10% were Serbs. Kosovo is also a landlocked state since it is surrounded by other countries. This may have also added to the conflict. Now, you might have already have guessed it, but the two ethnicities that were in conflict with each other were the Serbs and the Albanians. The Serbs were the minority, and they were against the Albanians. A centrifugal force that was pulling the country apart was the Serbian leader, Milosevic, who altered the status of the region from having a high degree of autonomy to bringing it under the direct control of Belgrade, the Serbian capital. Also, the Serbs and the Albanians were not stateless nations, since after Yugoslavia broke up, they had two separate countries, Serbia and Albania. Another cause of the conflict was that Muslim Albanians were in demographic control of an area that was held sacred to the Serbs, and Milosevic and other members of the Serbian minority of Kosovo did not like that. This would eventually lead to de facto segregation. This conflict also came to be because Kosovo was a cultural shatterbelt, because the Serbs and Albanians were mixed together but often suffered from civil unrest. The Serbs were in charge of Kosovo's government, but after some time, the Serbian Special Police and the Yugoslav Armed Forces attempted to gain control over the region. The conflict lasted from 1998 to 1999. The conflict itself was at a regional scale, but as more and more countries began to get involved, it started to expand to a global scale. The two ethnicities then started to become more violent. In its peak in 1999, more than 800,000 ethnic Albanian residents were forced out from their homes, mostly to camps in Albania, by Serb ethnic cleansing. Also, between March 1998 and March 1999, over 2,000 people were killed as a result of the Serb government's policies in Kosovo. This is just one example of the many accounts of killings that happened in Kosovo. But does this qualify as a genocide? Well, that is up to your interpretation. The conflict finally resolved when the United States and Western European countries intervened the ethnic cleansing in Kosovo through NATO by launching an air attack against Serbia. The United Nations Security Council also thought that the ethnic cleansing was excessive and imposed an arms embargo. The spatial distribution of peoples was largely impacted from the conflict, since nearly 1 million ethnic Albanians, as well as another 500,000, were internally displaced peoples. Also, in the beginning of April 1999, the ethnic cleansing had resulted in 33,000 refugees in Montenegro, 125,000 in the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, and 226,000 refugees in Albania. This could also be known as forced migration. Now, the border of Kosovo didn't change a lot, since it is a physical boundary because it's rugged and mountainous, because of the Albanian Alps. The border of Kosovo is also an antecedent boundary, since the mountains were there before human settlement. So that's, in short, what happened in Kosovo. So stay safe out there, and don't get stuck in the middle of any ethnic conflicts.